Hey, this is Jason Falls.
Hey, this is Mari Smith.
Hey everybody, this is CC Chapman.
Hey, this is Jason Keith.
Michael Stelzner here.
Hi there, I'm Rand Fishkin.
Hey, this is John Jantz.
Hey, it's Jay Bear.
Hey, this is Brian Solis.
Hi, this is David Wells, and you're watching Inbound Now with... Hi, this is Seth Godin, and you're watching Inbound Now with David Wells.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Inbound Now. I have a very special guest with me here today, Mr. Jason Sadler of IWearYourShirt.com.
I don't know, was that a Mrs. or a Mister? That was like a mix of the two. I'll take it, it's fine.
I just messed that up so bad. Anyways, Jason runs IWearYourShirt.com. It's one of the craziest business models I've ever seen on the web, and it works very well for him. Jason, can you explain what exactly I Wear Your Shirt is?
I can. It is a company where I literally get paid to wear t-shirts for a living and promote companies via social media. So it started back in 2009, and I've been doing it all the way up until now, where we have more shirt wearers now and have had over 1,500 sponsors now over the past couple of years, and that's it. Put a shirt on, make a video, put some tweets, some Facebook stuff out there, and just kind of rock out all day.
Gotcha. So yeah, and you know, in the intros to a lot of your videos, you kind of have, it's you with an angry face, and you're like going against billboards and traditional advertising and stuff. I think it's pretty funny. So with your shirt advertising, let's call it that for right now.
Sounds good.
It's really more than that though, right? It's about creating compelling content around the brand and kind of spreading it out through the social web. So can you kind of walk us through your creative process on how you approach each client differently and kind of make a company that might not be that interesting, work on in social media?
Yeah, this is like a really well-timed question for us as a business because, I Wear Your Shirt was me in 2009, 2 people in 2010, 5 people last year, and now 5 people again this year. And we're going through some growing pains in the fact of social media has obviously changed so much, right? When I started this in late 2008, early 2009, there were basically no companies on Twitter putting their messages out there. So the only people that were on Twitter were like real people, you and me chatting about stuff. So when I would say, hey, check out Pride of Maui, I was one of the few marketing messages that was out there, and I was a real person doing it. So, it had some staying power, whereas now, obviously it's a very kind of kludged up system. So the creative process has really changed because when it first started, I'd never made a video before. I didn't have a Twitter account. I had like 100 friends on Facebook. I didn't even know who half of them were because I didn't set it up. So, I was just kind of jumping into this because I thought it would be fun, and it seemed like a decent idea because there were people on billboards, there were radio advertisement hosts, all that stuff. So I started doing this with the flip cam, and I would just turn it on. I didn't even have a tripod for like the first 2 weeks. And I would just turn it on and like hold it, my arm out, and just talk to the camera and say like, hey, what's up? I'm Jason. The videos were horrendous, but it was people seeing into my life and then also seeing the sponsor attached to that. So I didn't really have to do too much of making a crappy company look cool or, even like making a really cool company appeal to other people who may not have known about them. Whereas the business has evolved to, we kind of became more of a production company, which is good and bad. I'm starting to realize that there's so many messages that are out there now that we're just now another message, right? It's Pride of Maui, sponsor of the day, really cool snorkeling and diving tour in Molokini. So it's like, one, it's an easy thing to talk about, but maybe people aren't interested. Maybe they're not seeing it in their messages because it just looks like another message. So what we're really trying to get back to is pumping some personality into these brands, but having it be fun. So it really could almost be any brand because it's more about us doing fun things, and the shirt just happens to have a name on it. And that's really kind of where we're trying to go.
Gotcha. It's like I almost look at it like the evolution of product placement, right? It's like you're a personality, you and your team, you have fun, awesome videos, and then it's like, oh, by the way, I'm wearing this shirt, and if you want to check them out, you can, right?
And that's exactly what I want us to go forward to. We kind of in the past year-ish have been more commercial. Like we've made more infomercial style videos, trying to have fun with it, trying to create YouTube videos for people because it's such a great piece of content, lives on forever. You can optimize the heck out of it. There's a lot of benefits to having a YouTube video, but for our community, which is really the most important part of my business that I've grown over the past couple of years, I think they're kind of getting bored with the commercials, and they want more of the personality. They want more of the randomness, and that's really what I'm trying to push us toward here in the next couple months.
Gotcha. How did you go about selecting your other team members?
Yeah, so the first year it was obviously just me, so I just picked myself, which is an easy one. When the first year sold out in 6 months, I had been talking to a guy by the name of Evan White. He'd been helping me get some PR and just kind of brainstorming, and we were chatting, and I was like, listen, I know I want another shirtwear. I'd like to find a girl because it'd be a good kind of back and forth, for a guy and girl in a shirt. But I just didn't know anybody, and I didn't even know where to look to find a professional T-shirt wearer. Someone who could do this full time, and it's a lot of work. I mean, it's every single day of the year. So we were on the phone one day. I was like, listen, man, how about you just do it? Because you kind of have the same schedule as I do. You know how this works. And he was like, all right. So that was literally how I found my second shirt wearer. And then at the end of 2010, we did a YouTube video hiring process. And basically, someone would film a 3 to 5 minute video. They had 3 requirements. You had to wear a shirt. You had to be awesome. And you had to say why you were better than somebody else. I mean, that was it. I didn't care about where you'd worked before. I don't care about where you live. Like, none of that mattered to me. I just wanted to see if you could be on camera. So that was the process. We picked people, and we did that again for the shirt wearers that you see this year. And DeAndre Upshaw has been our only return shirt wearer. He was here last year, and he's here this year. And that's kind of how we find people. And, I think that's the only way we could because, it's such a weird job.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, your team's kind of diverse, spread across is it just in the U.S. or is it worldwide?
Yeah, just in the U.S. We've got Sarah Beal in California, Bimini in New York City, DeAndre in Texas, and then Sean Ely was actually in Detroit, Michigan, but he was tired of the cold weather, so he moved actually here to Jacksonville. He came down and visited twice, and he was like, I wanted to move anyway, and this place looks awesome, so he now lives like 6 minutes down the street, and we're always filming videos together.
Nice. Yeah, so I love the concept for the company. It seems like it's so simple, yet you were kind of the first to do it, right? And
yeah.
You've gotten a ton of traction from the press. You've been mentioned in the New York Times, Fast Company, Wall Street Journal, Mashable. The list goes on and on. What is the key for getting those big press mentions?
Luck. I mean, I wish I had a formula that I could give people, but it's so funny. I didn't know anybody in the press world. So when the New York Times thing hit, that was through my buddy Evan. He had known somebody, and that kind of came through. But then after that, everything was really just organic. I distinctly remember getting the email in 2009 from Reuters, and a guy said, hey, I want to profile you for a week and just know kind of what you do because this job looks ridiculous. And I was like, all right. And then I guess his editor got word of, he found what I was doing, and he was like, oh, let's fly him up to New York City and let's walk around with him and see what he does. So I did this whole piece on Reuters, and then from there, that was kind of where everything took off. And, getting all these other outlets, it's really just been about continuing to do what I do, just trying to keep it fun, trying to keep it different. And even now, I've got a reporter for CNBC who always contacts me looking for new stuff. I write for entrepreneur.com, actually youngentrepreneur.com, and usually goes through to entrepreneur.com. And, I just try and keep things as fresh and interesting and new as possible to keep the press, wanting to talk about I Wear Your Shirt.
Gotcha. So, and they're also talking to you a lot about the stuff you guys are doing in social media, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of comes along with it because my business is built on social media. So if Facebook crashes tomorrow and it's down for a day, I'm screwed. Not really, but I mean, for the most part, there goes a lot of my audience. If Twitter is having the fail whale, I have a terrible day. I'm pulling what little hair I have out. So, really, we kind of put all of our eggs in social media because I believe in it. I think it's awesome, and I think a lot of companies are obviously seeing the potential. Now it's just a matter of kind of rising to the top above the rest of the marketing jargon and nonsense.
Gotcha. Yeah, and iwearyourshirt.com and you as well have a pretty large social media presence, pretty large community. What's your secret sauce there? How did you really, foster that?
I'll steal a line from Gary Vaynerchuk, and it really, a lot of inspiration from him when I first got started, and that was just to care. I wanted to know something about every single person who ever tweeted at me. I wanted to know something about anybody who ever became my friend on Facebook. I still do a live show every single day, although we're kind of phasing it out in the next month, but I've been on live video for almost 3 years straight every single day, and every person that comes through, I talk to them. I'm not just hosting a show and doing something and there's no interaction. I want to know, who Sandra Diana is, who's there, who the other people that are showing up. I want to know something about them. And to me, I think that's what's really been great for the community. And, we do a lot of giveaways and promos and stuff with our sponsors, and we try and make that fun as well. Not just sign up for their newsletter, but actually do something that people feel interested in or good about.
Gotcha. So speaking of contest, you recently ran a contest on your site for a MacBook Pro, which I entered and lost. Cough, cough. But and you had over 37,000 entries, and it seemed like it did very, very well. So when you're running these social media contests, are there anything that people should or companies should keep in mind to kind of make sure that it does as well as it could do?
Yeah, I mean, I think you really, number one, you have to have a compelling prize, right? Everyone's giving away an iPod or an iPad or, at some point you have to realize, okay, what do I want to get from this and what am I willing to get out of it? And the Tracky team actually contacted me and they're like, what do you want to give away? What would you want to win? And I said, listen, we do iPads kind of not left and right, but once a month here, it seems like on I Wear Your Shirt. Let's do something bigger. Like there's a new MacBook Pro that's probably going to come out. I mean, luckily it did because I don't know what we would have done if it wouldn't have, but, let's do that. And so that's what we focused on. And then luckily, having a service like Rafflecopter, I know you saw how simple that was.
Yep.
Unbelievably simple to manage a contest. I mean, I did nothing but respond to tweets, respond to comments, see people liking stuff and trying to interact with it. And that's part of it too. If you just set something up and sit back and, go, all right, let's wait for the entries to come in. It's not going to happen. I mean, you have to try and get people interested. You have to talk to people. And, I did a good bit of that. And, thank you to Sarah Evans and the Tracky team for also helping spread that out.
Gotcha. Yeah, Rafflecopter is pretty awesome. Actually, I'm running it with a client right now, and it's from when I saw it on your site. I was like, this is ridiculously easy to use, and it makes people tweet about it once a day if they want to, and it just gets the word out there like crazy. I wish I actually invented Rafflecopter.
Yeah, you and me both, especially for as much contesting stuff that I used to do. I should have done that, but
yeah. Gotcha. So right now, are there any copycats out there, or people that have tried to emulate what you do?
There were a lot more in the beginning. I think, I don't know if they all just started talking to each other and realizing that, I'm crazy, and obviously I work every single day and film a video every single day and, answer all these emails and put all these tweets out and do all this stuff, and a lot of people want days and time off, and I don't necessarily need that because I love what I do. I'm entrenched in social media. I love t-shirts. I don't like wearing other pieces of clothing. So, for me, that works. But there were tons of copycats in 2009, especially after the first year sold out. And then seems like there's 4 or 5 each year. And they'll go and they'll email my previous clients. My clients will forward me the emails and be like, hey, there's another copycat. And that loyalty that I built with these clients is nothing more than me just trying to be as transparent, as honest as possible with them. And that, I think that's really kind of been my staying power. And like you said, I was the first one to do this. I've built the audience, I've built the following. I'm sure someone, if they had a good marketing mind, could come and do this as well and, create some competition. And I'd be fine with that. But I haven't seen anybody do it kind of full on, and I'm okay with that right now.
Interesting. Yeah, I was thinking about pivoting Inbound Now into iwearyourunderwear.com.
There you go. Well, I'll be glad to introduce you to Jockey. They were my underwear sponsor for 2 years. They're great people, so you can start with your pitches right there.
I need some models, though. I don't think anybody wants to see that. But yeah, so we have a question from Twitter. I tweeted earlier today if anybody had any questions for you. And Rise Up and Go on Twitter asked, how much would it cost for Jason not to wear a shirt for a day?
That's fun. So, I have a couple ways to answer this question. The first one is Josh Spear from Undercurrent. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he was kind of one of the first, taste makers online, finding cool, gadgets and luggage and travel stuff. He actually paid for a day in 2009 and didn't send me a shirt on purpose. He was like, I want to see what you do. And I was like, did you just pay me to not wear a shirt? And he was like, I'm not going to say one way or another. So, I remember I wore no shirt that day. I went through Chick-fil-A drive-through that day, and I went about my day without a shirt. I didn't go to the grocery store or anything, but, I kind of did that, and it was fun. And then I've had a couple days in 2010 and before where I didn't get the shirt. It didn't show up on time. So I just embraced it, and I was like, well, I didn't get a shirt. This is part of the job, so let's do this. And so nowadays, it's more focused on the team. So, I don't want the team to have to run around and feel like they have to be topless. However, I don't do a lot of things with my shirt off, mainly because, I don't know about you, but as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, I have totally lost track of my fitness, my diet, all this stuff, and I just don't feel great about taking my shirt off. I am starting a 90-day challenge. I actually haven't put it out publicly, so this will be the first place anybody's heard of it. But on my personal blog, on my personal blog, actually, I think after this interview goes up, I've got a post written, and I'm 20 days in. I wasn't going to tell the public, but in 70 days from today, I will hopefully look like a bronze statue. Either that or I'm a complete failure. So we'll see. You'll have to check back in August, and then I will not have been paid to take my shirt off, but hopefully it'll make me feel good about, getting in shape and staying back where I was.
Gotcha. Cool. So you mentioned that you have done live video for the past 3 years, but you're phasing that out. Why are you phasing that out? Was live video, is it kind of like a trend that was hot and now it's kind of dying down, or is the audience not there? What's the reasoning behind that?
I don't know the direct answer. I think for me, there wasn't enough, I don't think, change in the show that I did. The show was always me on that couch behind me, talking about whatever, stuff that was going on in the news, stuff that was, some sponsor-related things, and just trying to have fun. And I think that, as with any TV show, that gets old if you don't change it. And for me, it was an hour commitment every single day. And it wasn't me giving enough value to the community that I could be giving in that hour, and I wasn't getting enough back from the community either. And that's no fault of theirs, because like I said, I didn't, there wasn't anything that was drastically different. So, I just kind of sat back and looked at, all right, how much time am I spending doing this? What's my return on it? And it was nothing. I mean, I'd rather spend an hour tweeting with as many people as I possibly can and having all those conversations than, if 20 people show up to a live show, or 5 or 10, whatever it may be. And I think live video is great, but I think it's just very difficult if you don't have like a full production and plans and, kind of like your own Tonight Show, basically. It's not going to keep people interested.
Gotcha. So yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. If it's just a show and the audience isn't getting value, it seems like it's not worth doing. On that point though, you do a video every single day, and one of the things that I've struggled with doing video is, if I was going to do something every day, I feel like I'd almost run out of ideas, or my idea wouldn't be good enough. So how do you kind of jump that hurdle and really like come up with something new and creative every day?
Luckily, I think two things. Number one, my brain is wired in a very weird way. So like I get these companies and all of a sudden I'll just think of something random, and I think that's helpful. But the other thing is that every company is different. Today's Pride of Maui, yesterday was a surveillance camera company called QC. So it's like you see the difference in those companies. There's no way those videos would be anywhere near similar, right? I mean, it would be completely different just because they're different companies. So that helps a lot. When I look at these companies, and a lot of them now, we look at what their goals are in video because we want them to be able to reuse this video or put it on their Facebook page like, Pride of Maui did today. And I think that's important to me because I know what they want, and then I can kind of serve that forward. But, kind of going forward here, what I really want to do is create more content that's just fun, inspiring, spontaneous, and look to Twitter and look to Facebook and look to my community to say, what do you guys want to see in video? What really interests you? Do you want to see me do a bunch of trick shots, like a random video of trick shots? Okay, I'll go do that, because I think it'd just be fun to really let the community drive the content that's being made, because that makes them feel like they're getting something out of it, and it makes me not have to do so much thinking because I'm like, all right, well, that's a good idea. I'm going to go do that.
Right. Gotcha. So you mentioned, like the video that you did today is now on the Pride of Maui Facebook fan page. Do you think a lot of your success with iwearyourshirt.com comes from that, you're promoting that company, they're also in turn promoting you because they're sharing that content out through all of their different channels?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that like in continuing to build this community, as we get sponsors that come forward, we tell them that it's only going to be as much as what you make of it. How often do you pay people to wear t-shirts for you? It's not very often, right? So if you're spending the money, if you're doing something interesting, share it, share the crap out of it, because people are not going to be like, oh, this is stupid. Why'd you pay these people to wear a t-shirt? They're going to be like, what in the world is this? Whether the video's dumb or not, the idea of it makes companies look like they're, thinking out of the box and they're doing something interesting, which has definitely helped us. And we've had a lot of, kind of community overlap with some of our sponsors where we see people come from different pages and kind of hang around for a while because they are interested. They do see something fun and different. And I think that's really cool and that's fun.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I see like a huge opportunity for a lot of businesses out there. They kind of just do their own thing, live in their own silo. But I think if there was a lot more collaboration, especially with content and video content, I think there's like miles and miles of leverage there. But yeah, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. You just like, it's like the live video thing is a great example. You get so stuck in your ways of doing the same thing that you do and that you're comfortable with. And even if that's like pay-per-click or, banner advertisements or whatever you do, think about it. Okay, well, what can like spice this up? What can really put a resurgence into the brand? And yeah, maybe we're selling at the rate we want to sell, but could we do something that would like take that up a whole notch? You look at Dollar Shave Club, I'm pretty sure they didn't expect the result that they had after that video, but it didn't cost them a whole crap load of money to make that video. It didn't cost them a whole bunch of time. They just made it, put it out there, and it was completely different than anything they'd done before, and that's why it worked so well. So I think creativity is key in getting outside of your silo, like you said.
Gotcha. So let's shift gears a little bit to the actual, business model of I Wear Your Shirt. So, it's a primarily, online business, right? So
Yep.
What's one thing that you wish you knew, or wish someone told you, starting a business that's primarily on the web? What's one thing that you wish you knew starting out?
Hire an accountant. Don't like the $500 that you're going to spend on an accountant as a business owner for having like a full online business will save you so much of a headache. The first 2 years of this, I don't know why. I just was like, oh, I don't want to spend $500. It's the best money that you can spend. It's ridiculous. When I think back now, I'm like, wow, that would have not saved me a ton of money, but the headache and all the stuff that I have to do. And then I think the other thing too is when businesses are getting started online, think about the domain name that you're going to buy, or think about the Twitter handle that you want. These things are where the people are. So, if you're, thinking about a company name and you don't check to see if these things are available or if somebody might already have them, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. So I think that's a good one. And then, the other thing too is pick a platform and run with it. If you don't have time to do Twitter and Facebook full time, pick one. It's not going to hurt you if you just kind of, stick to one or the other. Maybe you'll build up the time and the audience that you can move to another one, but, really focus on what'll do well for you.
Gotcha. Did you choose a platform starting out and then kind of transition to the array? Or
Well, I picked all of them. So that was kind of one of my mistakes from the beginning. I was like, I want to be on every platform. I used TubeMogul and pushed my videos out to like 30 different video platforms and all this stuff. And the time that I was spending to do that versus the return was negligible. I mean, it wasn't worthwhile. And I finally had someone come to me, and I don't remember who it was. I think it was a sponsor. And they're like, why are you doing this? Like, you're getting like 3 views here and there, and you're getting all this stuff. Like, is it really worth the effort? And I looked and I was like, no, it's not. Like, I'd rather focus on YouTube, where I have over 8 million views now. Just on Ustream was the live video platform before, over 1 million views. Just on Twitter, just on Facebook, and then kind of, come back and think about email marketing. I didn't even think about having an email list, and that's a very important thing that I just didn't think about it, so it's just continuing to like think about the basics, pick the ones that work, and really run with them.
Gotcha. Cool. So, Jason, where can people find you online?
So yeah, iwearyourshirt.com. I'm on Twitter at iwearyourshirt. We've got a fan page, which is facebook.com/iwearyourshirt. I also have a personal page because I outgrew the regular 5,000 wall on Facebook, which stinks, but you have to do it. And then actually, I'm really excited about we've got some changes coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're focusing on video production right now, but we're starting to do weekly sponsors, which I think are going to be really exciting, and it's going to be a lot more community focused. And if you've ever been a part of the I Wear Your Shirt community and you're watching this, or you're a potential to become a part of it, we're going to have a fun little setup where you can pretty much dictate what we do for our weekly sponsors, and you can have a voice for those sponsors. So I'm really excited for the upcoming changes, and I just want to keep growing and changing and evolving this brand.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, I appreciate your time, and I've definitely been keeping an eye on I Wear Your Shirt. I first heard about you guys it was on the Rise to the Top show.
With David Simon Garland.
Yeah, and I was like, are you kidding me? This guy wears t-shirts for a living, and I was amazed. And yeah,
awesome.
But keep up the good work, man, and I appreciate your time.
I appreciate it. Please keep watching so that I can keep my torso clothed.